Hi, my name is Stephanie Dickson and I am founder of the Wedge Asia and co-founder of Green is the New Black, Asia's first conscious festival. So, when I first moved to Singapore 4 or 5 years ago, I used to work for a fashion events company. And we did major fashion weeks around the region, including Singapore, Vietnam, Bangkok. And after 4 years, I'd learned so much and I loved it. But I was kind of on autopilot, wasn't really living my life, wasn't really enjoying all the moments. And I realized I was being yearned and I had this yearning to do something more. I want to do something more with my life, more impactful. And this idea came to me of building a conscious community in Singapore where people could really come and learn from others and not just learning through a screen. So when I was kind of doing this switch, I was gorging on a lot of TED Talks, trying to figure out as a young entrepreneur, like, what am I going to do with my life? And that's really when I realized that, I don't want to learn from a screen. I want to learn from real people and I want to connect with people. And I want to learn myself how to be more present because I was always on this autopilot, just going through the motions, going through life. And so it's about, being present and taking that moment to really understand and consciously choose what you want to do and how you want to build your life. So I do what I do because I know there's more people out there like me who are on autopilot and need a little push and a little shove and a little reminder to actually be conscious and to make better choices in their daily life. So my mom is a holistic energy practitioner, so a lot of my influence and ideas definitely came from her. She was also vegetarian and grew up washing vegetables with special soaps just for vegetables and all these kind of things, which at the time I never really understood. And then, as I said, when I left my old job, I was really searching for my life's purpose, and I felt really lost. I felt really lost and really confused. And I was spending way too much time, gorging on all these inspirational talks online. So the real trigger for me was like, I actually want to learn from someone who's gone through this. I want to have that human-to-human connection. I've always loved bringing people together. And then when I started doing research and really, understanding and thinking more about things, I was terrified and I was shocked and scared about how bad a lot of the things are, like fashion being the second most polluting industry in the world. That is a massive problem. And then delving deeper into that and understanding that just from one cotton t-shirt and a pair of jeans, it's 20,000 liters of water. I couldn't, deny these facts. And so that understanding and having that knowledge, really understanding the facts, really geared me and kickstarted me into looking into this and being like, okay, well, what can I do to make a difference about this? So for me, when I looked at it, it was like, okay, well, I'm really good at events. That's what my background is. I love bringing people together. So that's how I'm going to play my part in, helping people to live more consciously and understand what that really looks like. So we kind of break it down into 3 things, and that's inspiration, knowledge, and action. So we hope that when we bring people together that they're really inspired, we give them amazing knowledge, and that they actually take action to better their lives. And that's the piece that I think is missing from a lot of these other online videos and stuff like that. It's like they're great to watch, but what do you do after? Probably not much. So that's really what we focus on, and that's kind of why I do what I do. Unofficially, yes. The lady that has had the biggest inspiration on me and my way of thinking, aside from my mother, is a lady called Marie Forleo. So she was the one, 2 quotes from her that really changed my life. The first one was my very first aha moment that I think I've ever probably had, and that was that clarity comes from engagement, not thought. So I've been kind of this person that's always been stuck in my head, and when I saw that, it was just like the lights finally went on, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get clear about this from thinking about it. I'm actually going to have to take action and do stuff. So that was a huge changing point for me on realizing that you actually have to do stuff to make change. You actually have to do stuff to get clarity and get clear. So that was a really big one. And the other one that she has is everything is figure-outable. So I used to be quite a stress head. I get really, really very easily stressed, and working in events, obviously a lot goes wrong. So remembering that everything's figure-outable, nothing really ever, there's always a solution to everything. So what's the point in having that moment where you freak out instead of just realizing, you know what, no, it's okay. I will figure this out and there's a solution. So those 2, things that she says, I think are really impactful for especially someone who's gone through what I've gone through. Yeah. Because you can think as much as you like, but that's never going to get you the answers. You actually just have to engage in the process and take action, and that's how you'll figure out what you really feel, and that's the best way to learn. I mean, I'm saying that, of course, you think about stuff and you ponder stuff, but the real clarity comes with actually doing things and taking action. So I have to remind myself of this constantly, because I do reflect and I do think very deeply about a lot of stuff. But then I'm like, okay, well, if I actually want to figure this out, I'm just going to try stuff. I'm just going to see what works and see what doesn't work. So of course, yes, you need to reflect and you need to think about stuff, but at the same time, you'll get the real clarity when you just start trying and figuring stuff out, and you learn as you go. So that's, I think, the point that I'm making. Let's hear on this. It's a big question. It's a big question. So if you're looking for your purpose, or if you're on autopilot and you're wanting to break free, the first step is realizing that, yes, okay, I am on autopilot and there's something missing in my life, or I'm not happy with something, okay? And then it's about bringing that awareness in, and that's the first step. That's the very first step. The second step would be to figure out, okay, what is it that I think is missing in my life? What is it that I want more of? Or what do I think actually makes me happy? So start asking those questions. And then at that point, once you have, as we said, have that reflection, have that a little bit of thought, start engaging in something. So if you think that, for example, oh, I really miss working out, and maybe that's what's going to help me, then just start working out, seeing if that fills it. I listened to this incredible podcast the other day that said what you're missing, or what you're searching for, or what you're wanting from other people, you should just go out and give that into the world, and it will come to you. So it's like that kind of thing. So if I feel like, okay, I feel like, maybe I'm being judged, or I'm not happy with something in my life, then I'm making the conscious effort to go and give that into the world, and to give that. If I'm having difficulty with a colleague, for example, instead of being difficult back, I will give them so much love and respect, and then in return, then I get that back. So that's an interesting thing that just came up in the last few weeks for me, is what you feel like is missing, go and do that and see if that helps, Fake it till you make it, as they say. So Green is the New Black is now in its second year, and we are calling it Asia's first conscious festival. So the whole mission and purpose of Green is the New Black is to help people to live more consciously. So for us, that means being more awake, being more aware of the decisions you're making, how they're going to impact you, your surroundings, and the environment. So it is quite overwhelming when you try to find this information online. So what we do is we do all the hard work, we do all the curation of all local brands who are going about business in a more mindful way, they're going about business in a conscious way, and bring them all together in one place so that you just need to come and meet them all. And then we're bringing together all these incredible speakers as well, and change makers, to help us go through a 360-degree look of conscious living. So for us, that really breaks down into 3 different sections, and that's having, being, and doing. So having is about how can we be more ethical and sustainable with the stuff that we have. What's the power that we really have with our wallets. The being is all about our internal world, so mindset, dealing with our inner doubt, and learning how to tune into our inner compass, because a lot of our decisions and our awareness needs to start inside with ourselves, right? What do we want in the world? What kind of impact are we going to make? And then the third one is doing. So it's all about what do we do in the world, and how can we do that with more purpose and make more impact, and what is our purpose, in the world. So really, that's the whole ethos behind Green is the New Black. It's like, let's bring together all these incredible people, and you can come no matter where you are, your level, or the journey into this conscious living world. You can come and learn something and meet new people, and that's really what we're aiming to do. So at the moment, it's one event. And that's, accumulating all of these things together. So of course, it needs to be a weekly and a monthly and, daily practice as well. So we do have a monthly event that we do with the Wedge. So we do a monthly event, and that is our conscious community. So a monthly top-up of inspiration, knowledge, and action. And it feeds me, it feeds the whole team. Every time we do our events, we get, you know, that monthly inspiration again to get through to the next month, and to integrate some of the things that we're learning through that. So that's one thing, but it's also, you know, that's where the action comes into it. So yes, we're only one day, one event at the moment, but we have a much bigger vision. And then it really comes down to the individual. Let us do the first step. Let us introduce you to all these incredible brands, to this way of living, to this way of thinking, and then you can decide what you care about and where your interests lie, and then take the next step. And then hopefully we can support you on that journey through our social media, our newsletters, to remind you and to keep the conversation going. Yeah, to follow us, to follow the brands that you meet, to follow the change makers that we introduce you to as well. Yeah, find, you know, you'll be drawn to certain people and certain things, so that's a good indicator from the beginning. So big vision is obviously to, on the event side, is to become the biggest conscious event in Asia. So have you heard of RISE in Hong Kong? RISE conference? Okay, it's one of the biggest tech festivals, so I aim and my vision is to be as big as they are, where people fly in from around the region, or we have multiple Green is the New Black events around the region to keep this conversation going on a constant basis. And then to supplement that and support that online, and to really build a community and to, you know, increase this conscious movement around the region. Okay, so the biggest challenge at the moment on the event side is definitely there's so many events in Singapore. So it's like, how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we make sure that people understand and hear about it? There's so much noise online. So our biggest challenge is, of course, cutting through and really making sure that we're reaching the right people. So we're super fortunate that we have incredible partners that we're working with to help us get the message out to different groups of people. But that's definitely a challenge, and I think that would be a challenge for any event. You know, it's how do you compete? And Singapore is a melting pot. Everyone wants to do an event in Singapore, so all the big ones are coming, and then you've got all the small ones as well. So that's definitely our biggest challenge. And I guess the second challenge is also practicing what we preach, right? I mean, if I'm going out there telling everyone to live more consciously, I got to do it too, and I do. But sometimes, you know, your mind takes over and life takes over, and you got to be like, whoa, okay, I got to remember to live consciously too. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a few things. So we supplement what we do at the moment by doing consulting work in social media marketing. So when you're super passionate about something, sometimes it means that you're going to have to split your attention. If you're so passionate about your cause and you can't sustain it the way it is, you have to kind of look at doing something else to fund that side of the business. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It may mean that your growth is slower, sure, but at the same time, you know, you still get to eat and have a roof over your head and not have to worry about that side of it. So that's one thing. And I guess the other thing is to really, you know, figure out your overheads and never try to overextend. So if you know you have a certain amount of money in, then just, you know, grow slowly. It's okay, you know, we're not the unicorns. They're so rare, and people, I think a lot of people look at those unicorn tech companies and they're like, oh, I can do that too. And sure, some people can, but at the same time, be realistic. You know, you still want to have a life and you still want to build something without killing yourself for it. So I think it's about just being realistic and just going at the growth and the pace that you can go at. And just being okay with that and tapping yourself. Little wins is a big thing. Celebrating little wins to keep going. I think that's a really big one. Does that answer your question? So this is Kitchen by Food Rebel. It's my favorite cafe in Singapore. I absolutely love it. The owner, Alika, is incredible. And then Ivan, who manages the place, he's just so friendly. Like, you feel at home when you come here. They know you by name. And all of the products here, I know for a fact I'm coming in, I'm getting really healthy food, the very best that they can get their hands on. And that makes me feel good because I know I'm eating healthy, and then it energizes me for the rest of the day. And my office is around the corner, so it's all win-win-win.